Betty Standback, a woman of virtue, integrity, and self respect, comes from very humble beginnings. The daughter of two sharecroppers, Nathaniel Maxwell and Earlene Standback. Betty's childhood began in a shotgun house with holes in the floor.
She was born April 25th, 1949. Mother's name was Earlene Standback at that time. She was young, I think like 15, maybe 16 when the baby was born. But I do remember my dad used to have to take her to get a 6 week checkups. And with the wagon and the mule, go in the hunt animals to see the doctor.
We grew up without running water, without inside plumbing. We had to walk sometimes miles to get water in buckets just to do laundry or just to do the dishes or to cook. We lived in a wood frame house with holes in the roof, holes in the floor. Sometimes you could look up and a snake would be hanging on top of the house. Money was very scarce. I remember the first TV that they bought. Mama missed one payment and that TV was repossessed.
There was never a dull moment in the Standback household. From the Saturday morning spent picking peas with her grandmother, affectionately known as Mug, or seeing after the family cattle with her grandpa, known as Papa, to that time that she got a visit from a slimy friend.
I remember when Betty Ruth went out back to the outhouse to use the restroom, and the longest snake in the world was hanging up in there. I remember her coming back, running, screaming, and crying that there was a snake in that outhouse. And our grandmother, Mud Standback, got the shotgun, went back there to shoot the snake, but she was so slow by the time she got on one knee, the snake was going about his business.
Money was scarce in the Standback household. In an effort to bring funds into the home, the Standback children, like most children during that time, were forced to work in the cotton fields of Mississippi.
Yeah, we worked in the field, but I don't think now, we thought we was working hard, but we wasn't. Our daddy had us spoiled. It was 8 girls. So we wasn't doing nothing. But my mama would whoop us all. She whoop us. You gonna do so and so, you gonna pick 100. We couldn't do it. We couldn't pick 100. I had one sister could pick 100 now, so
keep them going to field. So they made me the water girl.
sis would say,
Although the Standback household was full of love, it was also known that the matriarch of the family was not one to be messed with.
I met Betty and Charlene going down to Mud's house. I got to know Mud. She sat over there in the corner with a switch in her lap.
Yes.
And I said to myself, I ain't coming down here no more. Because she don't care who she hit. She was that tight. And I said, I wasn't coming down here no more to the standbacks.
Eventually, the ever formidable disciplinarian Mug began to loosen her hold, and Betty was allowed to hang out with friends away from home, but not without a little chaperone to keep an eye on her.
Mom would make them take me with them so I could be a chaperone or watch them, whatever they do, come back and tell her. So one night we went to this malt stand and one of the guys that they was with offered me a milkshake and the guy had a new car and I wasted all over the car. That was so embarrassing, but it happened. So they was mad at me for a while, so I kept telling them it was time to go home. They didn't want to hear it. So when we got home, well, I whooped all of them, including me.
Upon entering high school, Betty would soon become one of the most popular students. A child loved by both teachers and students, high school is where Betty would meet her lifelong best friend, Ophelia King.
Well, we started preparing for our yard sales on Thursday by getting the paper. And me and Betty had a map book that stayed in my car. And whenever, we saw something that interested us and we wanted to check it out and didn't know where it was, I'd reach on the back of my seat and Betty would take the book because I was driving and she would locate where we needed to go to get hold of a lot of those good sales. And we did that for years.
In her late teens, Betty became a mother to two boys, the loves of her life. Tommy and Danny Standback.
Tommy Standback. Tommy Standback is Betty's firstborn child. He was what I call a very curious child. I remember when he was curious about fire and how it worked. And back in the house we grew up in had wallpaper that was tacked up there, whatever piece was hanging down. He pulled it and lit a match to it. And when it burned his finger or whatever, he threw it down in this wood frame house, which is all we had. Everything that we had, clothes, everything was gone. It burned completely down. Then there's Danny. I guess Betty Ruth being pregnant when the house burned, she was so excited, so hysterical that when he was born, he had red fire looking hair. It changed colors later on in life, but he was born with this sandy red hair.
In her late 20s, Betty would begin working for Sunoco Products, where again, she became one of the most loved people.
She was very much liked by the workers around. Everybody praised Betty, 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 Betty. They even made a statement like, "You ain't like Betty." I said, "We ain't supposed to be like Betty. I ain't, I'm not her sister. I'm just her cousin. But we started there. We first started at Trojan and left there, and she helped me get on when she started at Sunoco. Then she got me on, and she got Aurora and Ophia on.
And she became, a backup supervisor at Sunoco.
Setting her early beginnings aside, the love that Betty experienced as a child far outweighed her meager beginnings. Betty has lived a life full of rich substance, a life of extraordinary blessings and joy. Betty comes from a poor family. She didn't have much, but the Lord has been good to her.